R0 is the first biosafety company to develop hospital-grade disinfection technologies for modern dynamic organizations, like schools, hotels, restaurants, and even professional sports teams. Last year, I exited my first manufacturing business in China, and I moved back to California and was doing some volunteer teaching when the coronavirus pandemic changed the world indefinitely. And at that time, I got in touch with two other entrepreneurs, and the three of us started looking at this social and economic devastation that occurred, and we all felt this duty to figure out what we could build that can help the world come back online. Hospitals really have the gold standard for infection prevention. Ever since their advent, they're actually places where we encourage sick people to gather, and those are very vulnerable people, and we have to learn how to keep them safe from each other. So taking the technologies and methodologies that hospitals use as the gold standard and mapping them and optimizing them into dynamic environments for the public is very important. UVC really is just light. So it's entirely eco-friendly. There's no chemicals, no pesticides. You can use it around food. You don't have to worry about using it in spaces where children or people will enter. We need a new standard for infection prevention. So R0 is the first biosafety company that's taking hospital-grade disinfection technologies and methodologies and re-engineering them for all organizations. The existing UVC products, they exist in hospitals, and they're big and bulky and unwieldy, and they're scary. So everything from the industrial design, we tried to make this approachable and inviting, and make this so that people are comfortable seeing this in the spaces that they use and operate in. The problem with the disinfection industry today is that you don't actually know what's being done and what duties are being performed. There's no ability to actually track and monitor that the disinfection is actually happening. And the ability for us to report on and monitor the use of the device allows us to help with compliance and help make sure that organizations are using this. And our ability to track that over time will help us innovate to create solutions that are even easier to use and easier to adopt for these different organizations. The world and human behavior is changing forever. Teachers are scared to go back to work. Factory line workers don't want to go back to the production line. The public doesn't want to go eat in a restaurant. Because the truth is that the effective technologies were previously only used in hospitals and price prohibitive. So we want this to become part of the standard toolkit. We want UVC to be ubiquitous in all shared spaces. It's so important now that we help all these organizations become more resilient. R0 is really about building trust and helping both workers and patrons feel comfortable going back to any organization.